You work in broadcast media in Turkey. Can you give us a sense of the broadcast media landscape? How many channels are there? How do people make their choices for news?
Turkish people love watching TV, so we have several mainstream rating channels. I guess now like around 5 or 6. But the news channels, we have the old ones, like which were, which started like 10 years ago, NTV, Haber Turk and CNN Turk. Obviously CNN Turk is one of them. And we have the recent ones, which are like in a more conservative broadcasting policy.
And what does the Turkish audience want to hear about? What stories are they most interested in?
During the Arab Spring, for example, we had, quite a lot of coverage of Egypt, what's happening in Egypt and Tunisia. And we had like the highest ratings ever. But from my point of view, it seems the new Turkish youth, the new generation, they are more interested in the world. They are more open. They just don't want to be stuck in Turkish politics, Turkish news, solely. They want to see the other parts of the world. They are pretty much interested, it seems.
Are there stories you know have to be covered in a careful way, or stories that you try to stay away from? You know that they'll be controversial for a Turkish audience?
According to a perspective, this applies for each and every country. Every country has its own sensitivities. And remember, Turkish people are conservative in social matters. For example, if you're going to cover gay marriages, you have to be really sort of careful, because Turkish people, they believe they have some, certain Turkish traditional values, and they don't like being messed up about this. So you have to be careful, you have to choose your language carefully, not to disturb the audience.
And what are some of the other issues you find there are red lines to be crossed?
We have kind of I don't want to say I can say conflict in the eastern Turkey with the terrorist organization PKK. So we are not trying to actually hamper, say, armies' efforts there. So we're being careful in covering what's going on in the eastern part of Turkey.
So how do you approach the issue of the PKK?
The information coming from a terrorist organization could be full of propaganda. So not just blindly following PKK discourse would be the key for me.
Recently, the Turkish government released 2 journalists on bail who had been accused of participating and being a part of a larger conspiracy. What's your opinion of this case?
Well, the judiciary process is going on. It's good that they're not in prison, because this had been an issue with the European Courts of Justice and Turkey even. But now they're just freed on bail, and the judiciary process is going on, which seems more healthy. And let's see what will the court decide in the end.
Are you concerned that cases such as these will give the government greater control over the press and that there'll be less freedom for you to report?
Let's be honest. Turkish media has never been as free as, say, American media. We've had rough times. During the Cold War, we were just down the Soviets. So yes, media was, totally controlled by the government, by the military. Everything was so sensitive. Then all the regimes around us, they just, crumbled, and again, everybody was so sensitive. So now, with the world, the normalization, it seems, in our geography, is just starting to shape. With the Arab revolutions, now probably we'll see more democracies around with our neighboring countries and stuff. I think the important thing is we're going to see in the next decade how our geography, Middle East, Mediterraneans, what kind of a profile they'll have. And afterwards, I believe everything will be more healthy for us in terms of press freedom also.
So looking ahead 5 to 10 years, what would you like to see improved in Turkish media?
Whoever takes the power, they should understand that journalists are free to write or free to say whatever they wish. It's not the government's choice, but it should be the viewers and the people's choice.
And in terms of coverage of issues, are there underreported issues that you'd like to see explored more in Turkish media?
For example, gay rights in Turkey. I don't think that we're covering that this much. Women's rights, we're just handling it in some phases of it. We should speak more about women's rights. We should be able to cover whatever we like to cover.